Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Welcome back again. Inshallah, let's start. Let's go to the next part of this ayah. That is innahum sa'a ma kanu ya'malun. Now this grammar is little complex. Inshallah, we will go piece by piece, and if you don't understand it, then don't worry. Inshallah, in few runs you will understand it. I'll try to skip things which are more complex and keep things as simple as possible. From the face of it, when you look at this Arabic, you are looking at innahum. Innahum, you know, this innahum is a combination of harf of nasb, inna, and then hum, which is the pronoun. Okay, and combined, all of this is a harf of nasab fragment, right? That's what we know. Okay, so we also know that when the harf of nasab fragment shows up, there is an invisible is after it. And we also know that when the harf of nasab shows up, we normally label it as a mubtada. Okay, so this is a mubtada. So this indicates to me that this is a beginning of a jumla ismiya. Okay, now having said all of that, so we move ahead and we find a word sa'a. Now this word sa'a is a past tense fi'l. Okay, this word sa'a is a past tense fi'l, so I'm going to label it as one because I know it's a past tense fi'l, so it's a beginning of a jumla fi'liya. And I'm going to check what pronoun is inside this fi'l. So now this pronoun is basically huwa, so it has a huwa inside it, and I know that it's like nasara, it's like ja'a, iza ja'a that we did in the first ayah. So the sa'a is just like that. It has the same irregularity with alif in the middle. It's called ajwaf. So it is also the same case, right? So it's just like that. So when you have a huwa, you look for an outside doer. Okay. So when you look for an outside doer, you need an ism that is after and that is rafa. Of course, it's not always the case that you will have outside doer, but it can be the case. So let's look for one. And when we go ahead, we find ma. Now this ma is an ism mawsul ma. Okay. Now ism mawsul ma is a standard majroor. It's rafa. Okay. So because it's an ism mawsul ma and it's standard rafa, if we start to look at it as mansub, the definition would not really make sense. Sa'a is a very different type of fail. It's a fail al-ta'ajjub. It's a fail for amazement. How terrible, how horrible, that type of fail it is. So it is a fail of amazement, of ta'ajjub. Okay, so mixing up ma'a as a maf'ul with this one would not make sense. So I'm going to skip on some deeper details on this. We're not going to dive too deep, otherwise the video is going to be very long. So what we just need to know here is ma is an ism mawsul and this ma is rafa. Okay, this ma is rafa. So with an ism mawsul comes silatul mawsul, as you know, and the sentence in front of it, kanu ya'malun, this entire part is going to be the silatul mawsul. So this is ma is ism mawsul and kanu ya'malun is the silatul mawsul for ma. Okay, so let's decode this a little bit. Because ma is rafa, it is an outside doer of the fi'l sa'a. It's an outside doer of the fi'l sa'a. So I'm going to fire this 2 and I'm going to label ma as 2. Okay, now because ma is connected to its sila. Now this part is the sila, right? So ma is connected to this sila. You cannot just take the ma and make it an outside doer. You will take the full packet. This full packet is going to then become an outside doer of sa'a. Okay? outside door of sa. And then let's go inside this packet a little bit. So we just said that ma is ism mawsul. That's clear. So it's ism mawsul. Let's go into the silatul mawsul. Silatul mawsul. Okay. Now when you go to silatul mawsul, kanu ya'malun. Kanu ya'malun. Now kanu is fi'l naqis. So you know that when you have kana, kana, kanu, kanu is an incomplete fi'l that actually does not give you the full meaning, and therefore it is labeled as jumla ismiya, but it operates as jumla fi'liya. So it is still a fi'l, right? It is still a fi'l. It still has a hum inside it. Okay? It still has a hum inside it. It's kanu, right? Like ittakhazu, like saddu. It still has that same indication, right? So it has hum inside it. But this hum that is inside the kana is not the doer of kana. In this case, this is ism kana. Okay, I hope you accept my Chinese kana. So it's ism kana. Okay, so this is not called the doer of kana. So if you do not know the topic of kana, I advise you to take one of the other videos where I've taught the topic of kana, inshallah, and it will help you out. Okay, so because it's a jumla ismiya, we are going to label it an A. Okay, this is a mubtada. Kanu is a mubtada. Okay, and what kana needs is a khabar afterwards, and what it finds in this case is a fi'l coming after it, which is ya'maluna. Now this is a present tense fi'l. This in itself is a fi'l, and it has a fa'il. The fa'il is ya beginning, una ending. It tells you it is hum. Okay, now this is hum. Right, so we have sa'a, which is huwa. We have kanu, which is hum. We have ya'malun, which is hum as well. We have sa'a, that is a past tense. It always shows up as past tense, this fi'l. Kanu is also a past tense. And ya'malun is a present tense. Right? This is present tense. So how do we make sense out of this, all of that? Now you need to understand the template of kana plus the present tense. So the kana plus the present tense. So when you have a template like this, when you have kana, I'll just write it in English. So kana plus present tense fi'l. When you have a construct like this, this construct is translated as X used to do Y, or X is Ying. X is Ying. If I'm trying to explain it, for example, ya'malun means to do, right? So to act, to do, amal, right? So kanu is past tense and ya'maluna is present tense. So I'm going to use this template just so you're at ease, okay? So you could say that you could say they used to do. They used to do, okay? Or you could say they were doing. They were doing, which is this second type of template. Okay, so I'm not going to use this one. Let's strike this out. If you want to dive deeper into this topic, please go and watch the lectures on kana, the detailed lectures on kana there. So I'm going to stick to this template. X used to do Y. So kanu is they, and ya'malun is also they. So I'm going to say they used to do. They used to do, because it's kana plus present tense. And ma, ism mawsul, ma actually means what or whatever. Okay? What or whatever. So I'm going to say whatever or what they used to do. Okay? Now, let's complete the grammatical structure. So we found the kana and we found ya'malun. Ya'malun was not actually the khabar kana. It was a fi'l. So I'm gonna still mark it khabar kana. So what was it? Was it khabar kana? Sorry, khabar kana. Was it like this? KB in your legend. Let me check. Yeah, it's BK, right? So it's BK in your legend. So khabar kana is marked as BK in your legend, right? So I'm gonna mark it as BK because kanu is a mubtada, and we still need to find khabar. We didn't find khabar. We found a fi'l. So it's gonna be fi mahalli nasab. Fi mahalli nasab. Now this is a complex point. Fi mahalli nasab. Why nasab? Because the khabar of kana is always nasab. I repeat again, the khabar of kana is always nasab. And if you want to learn about kana, go take the class, right? So take that lecture and then you will inshallah understand this. So we have home, which is ism kana, ik, right? And then we have ya'malun, which is a jumla fi'liya in itself, but it's also fi mahalli nasab, khabar kana. Okay? And kanu itself is a mubtada. And all of that is a silatul mawsul. This entire piece, this entire box, is silatul mawsul to ma. This ma. Okay? And this entire box from ma all the way to ya'malun is an outside doer of sa'a. Outside doer of sa'a. How terrible. Oh, how horrible. How horrible. So let's try to put this together. Let's try to piece this together. And what does that mean? So I've tried to make this very easy because it's a complex grammar. I understand. It's a complex grammar and it's not very easy to understand if you have not learned these concepts before. So innahum, let's start with innahum. So indeed they, we would normally put are after this because we know there's an invisible is. I'm going to do a literal one first and then we'll try to optimize it, right? So indeed they are, sa'a is like how terrible. It's fi'l ta'ajjub. Fi'l ta'ajjub. And it has an outside fa'il which is ma, okay? And ma is connected to kanu ya'malun. So I'm going to first, let's say, translate ma, fa'il, and then I'm going to translate the fi'il, okay? So how terrible, I'm going to come before it and I'll say what, which is ma, kanu ya'malun, they used to do. Okay? They used to do, okay? And then you come and translate the fi'il. How terrible. How terrible. Okay, now let's piece this together. Let's make sense out of this. So I'm going to say indeed they are. Indeed they are. How terrible what they used to do. Okay, it's not making sense, right? Because it's a complex structure. So when you have a fi'l, let's go back here. Let's understand this soft point. So when you get a mubtada in a jumla ismiya and you are looking for a khabar which has to be an ism, but instead of an ism you get a full jumla fi'liya. Now this full jumla fi'liya is the khabar of innahum. This is a B, right? This is a B. So when you have a jumla fi'liya instead of the ism, this is overridden. You don't need that is anymore because is after all is a verb to be. You don't need that because there's another one, there's in the fi'l that came into the picture. So you're gonna translate it differently. So indeed they, I'm gonna kill this R for now. So because I don't need this R because I have sa'a. Okay. Indeed they, how terrible what they used to do. How terrible they used to do. Now, this day is redundant now for me. This day, the first one, innahum day, is redundant. Okay, so I'm going to make sense of it. How can I make sense of it? Indeed, they, how terrible what they used to do. So I'm going to rewrite this translation for us so that makes sense, okay? Indeed, how terrible, how terrible is what they used to do. How terrible is what they used to do. Okay, and that's the almost the closest translation I can make sense in English language. In Arabic language, this makes sense to any Arabic speaker. Okay, but in English language, it's difficult to make sense out of, right? So let's leave it at that, inshallah. Of course, we can optimize the translation more and more, but I think you get the crux and you get the idea. So in this particular grammar piece, we are looking at multiple jumlas. So we are looking at, just to revise you, we're looking at the first jumla ismiya starting with innahum, and it has a khabar which is sa'a ma kanu ya'malun fi mahalli rafa. Then you are looking at a sa'a with a jumla fi'liya. The sa'a is a jumla fi'liya, and on this jumla fi'liya you have fi'l and the fa'il is ma kanu ya'malun. This is another jumla fi'liya, right? And then you have kanu in itself. This is jumla ismiya, the jumla ismiya, and then it has a khabar which is fi mahalli nasab, because khabar kana is nasab, which is ya'malun, right? And then ya'maluna in itself is a fi'il and a fa'il. It's a jumla fi'liya in itself. So multiple nested jumlas going on and things going on. But I hope it helps you, inshallah, to understand this part of the ayah. So inshallah, I will see you in the next video. Jazakumullahu khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.